Can you see my, wait, I can't see you. So
Yes.
Can you see?
Yep.
Thank you so much. All right. Thank you so much. So David's table. And today David and I talked about what he's going to make. And I had never heard of this. How many of you have heard of something called cart driver's sauce? Me either. Me either. Also known as pasta alla carrettiera. Carrettiera. Okay, so that's what we'll be getting into. And before we do that, since a few of you have never met David before, David, I'd like you to just tell us a little bit about yourself and welcome. Thanks again for coming back and being here with me. And I don't think I mentioned through all that spiel that this will be the last David's table for right now too. So, so we'll see. You know, we never say never and we don't close doors. So stay tuned.
Great. Just
David?
no plans have been made. What do you need to know about me? Probably more than anything is I love to eat. And so, or as the saying goes, I eat, therefore I cook.
Yes.
But years ago, I decided I wanted to master the art of home cooking and really pour into it the way a professional pours into the subject matter. But I'm strictly interested in cooking at home, cooking for friends and family and myself in particular. I started a blog and wrote about everything I was learning. I studied culinary arts at a French cooking school, Académie de Cuisine. I also watched every show you could imagine, got every magazine you could imagine, poured myself into it, and just sort of became my life mission was to learn to cook better. I believe, above all, that all good cooking only comes down to three things: understanding your ingredients, your tools, and your technique. So that's how I've approached writing about cooking and teaching about cooking. Outside of cooking, I used to be in the HR technical arena, and I used to have a consultancy on employee compensation. So, but now I am, I guess you'd say, retired and cooking away. So that's my story.
Thanks, David. And I have to just say, I have so enjoyed meeting David. I met David through Scott
Right.
Sleep, the other domain lead. And we've just had the best conversations over the last several months.
We've had more fun than it's probably legal.
Let's just say I share his passion for eating, therefore I cook kind of thing. Yeah. All right. So David, you have some really strong objectives today.
I thought since this is the last one, let's just not worry about all this structure and objectives and let's just have some fun. I'm going to teach you how to make a really great, simple pasta sauce that is the basis for so many pan pasta sauces, and we'll talk about that. But who needs objectives when all we're going to do is cook, right? So let's go ahead and dive into this. I'm going to share my counter with you here real quick. Once I think there we go, and then I have to do my magic thing here for those of you who haven't been before. All right, I have before you 5 ingredients, simple 5 ingredients. Now you can later add some salt, and we're going to be putting on pasta, but these 5 ingredients probably do more to spell out Italian cooking than anything. And we're going to make a dish today that's vegetarian, but as filling as anything that you had with meat. You can put it on gluten-free pasta and it's just as delicious. And so I could take these 5 ingredients, my tomatoes, I've got some garlic, a big bunch of basil out of my garden, some olive oil here. And, you know, I could chop up some tomatoes, 5 or 6 tomatoes like we did in last week's salsa class, chop them up the same way, dice them up into small pieces, add a little salt, olive oil, garlic, and basil, and I'd have bruschetta. You know, and bruschetta is one of those things is when you taste it, you ask yourself, how could these simple ingredients come together and make something so delicious? And that to me is one of the secrets of Italian cooking. It's in simplicity and its deliciousness. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to make bruschetta for a pasta. It's basically what cart driver sauce is. So how cart driver sauce came to be was that, as I understand the legend, the cart drivers who had the mule driven and sometime, person driven carts of all the food that was brought from the hills into Rome during market, at the end of the day, they were left with the things that were the least expensive and the most plentiful, which were tomatoes, garlic, olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, and basil. And they had to cook with that and make their meal. And like so many dishes in Italian cooking, it doesn't come from the aristocracy, it comes from the working class. And when you think about all these famous Italian dishes we eat, it really wasn't to feed the rich, it was to feed the working class. So that is one of the reasons I think Italian food works, is if you have to get down to the bare essentials and you can make the bare essentials taste delicious, then you really have something there. So we're going to turn this into cart driver sauce. This is a very, very easy sauce to make. And I will tell you in a little bit, I think if you guys saw my pasta amatriciana class, it is basically a pan sauce like that. It's just we're going to use a few different ingredients. So let's get started with the tomatoes. I have here about a pound of tomatoes, and I am going to skin these tomatoes. Now, there's multiple ways to skin a tomato. There is actually a peeler that you can buy. Looks a lot like a potato peeler, but if you look closely, it has a jagged edge. And that jagged edge, that serrated edge, allows it to just peel off tomato skin like you would a carrot when you were peeling a carrot, right? So, certainly you don't have to go through what I'm going to go through, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to parboil these tomatoes and the skin's just going to fall off. So if you've never done this, this is a really quick and easy way to parboil or to skin your tomatoes. You could go through the trouble of using this, but I just think this is actually faster. So before we get started with my pound of tomatoes, I've taken all these tomatoes and I put a little X on the bottom of them. And I just take a paring knife and I go into the bottom about an inch, and then I turn and make another incision and I get a little X. And that little X is going to allow the water to get under there and help release the skin. So I've done that for every one of these. I'll just make a little X in all of them. And then I'm going to take this over the stove and we're going to boil these. And it's going to take should take only about 30 seconds and the skins are going to come off. So let me just switch over here to the stove.
Hey,
I'm
David,
using plum. Yeah.
is that a Xylus soft skin peeler?
Yes.
All right, I just
Yes,
put that in
Xylus.
that.
Okay, great. All right, let's see here. All right, we're all set up. So I've got some water boiling here. I've already salted it with this is about 4 to 6 quarts of water, and I salted it with a tablespoon of salt, just regular table salt. And just to make it easy so I don't burn myself, I'm going to use a spider. You could use a slotted spoon, or you could lower one edge of the bowl in. But I'm just going to put that into this water and put the rest of them here. And like I said, I'm going to look for the skin sort of cracking and starting to peel away from the from the rest of the tomato. So I might give it a little stir. It's just going to take about 30 seconds. And I'm using these plum tomatoes. You want to use a good meaty tomato, like a plum tomato, Roma. We still don't have them locally. These are coming out of Mexico, I think. Here, for those of you who don't know, I'm in DC, so we don't have local plum tomatoes. But this comes out of Mexico, and they're starting to get ripe. A couple weeks ago, when I did the salsa class, I wasn't all that pleased with them, but they're starting to turn out to be really ripe. So I want to make sure you can see this. This is the skin peeling off. Can you see how it's just wrinkling right up, and you see those cracks? And once you see that,